Okay, what is the purpose of life? According to the Westminster Shorter Catechism, and according to the Bible, I believe, it's to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. Now what about this evangelism? Doesn't this sound, the answer sounds almost like, shouldn't the purpose of living have more to do with self-sacrifice and working hard? You know, I think one of the reasons that the Baptists believe that winning people for Jesus is one of their main reasons for living is because they feel a little guilty. They feel like, well, we ought to be doing something. I mean, it's kind of like life needs to be hard. Life needs to be uncomfortable. It needs to be a struggle. And I don't know. What do I know? Yeah, I could be way off the mark right there. However, I have known people who kind of make their lives miserable because they are just a little guilty all the time, and they feel like if they work hard enough or deprive themselves of enough sleep or become miserable enough that this will somehow atone for their deep-seated guilt, and who knows where the roots of that lie. And listen, I'm wandering off and talking about things I don't know very much about now. But I do know. Glorify God and enjoy Him forever. But what about evangelism? How are people supposed to come to know God that way? Listen, I got to tell you, it just happens. Maybe that sounds too easy, but listen, buddy. When you're living like God intended to you, when you're enjoying life, and you have the love of Jesus in your heart, like I say, you will have friends. Oh yeah, yeah. You'll have to beat away people with a stick. That's supposed to be funny. What I mean is, there'll be no lack of people that you can interact with and be friends with. You know the best way to have friends, don't you? To be a friend. Okay, so I expect if things are normal and you're living for Jesus and you enjoy life and have enthusiasm and have a clear conscience, I expect that you'll make friends. I really do, because we're part of mankind. It's not a us versus them. It's all us. And I expect that you will make friends and you'll get to know people. And I tell you, after a while, there's people you get to know that you can talk about politics with and that you can talk about personal hygiene with. Seriously, it happens. Now, this is not most people, but I'm telling you, you'll find friends that you can talk about religion and politics and personal things, okay? And they will be friends. There won't be some ulterior motive here. It's not like you're trying to get them to trust you so you can, you know, chalk up a mark on your belt for converting another Christian. No, I'm just talking about living life, okay? And having friends and loving people. And in my own experience, the topic's going to come up. How can it not? If there is a God, and if He created this universe and lives in people's hearts, it's going to be a topic of conversation. And listen, Paul told you what to do. He said, just be ready. When they ask you about the hope within you, have an answer ready. Just be sure to tell them what's going on. I surrendered to God. It changed my life. Okay? You need to be, I mean, if people want to know, tell them, for goodness sakes. Here, I'll just give you just a couple of examples. We'll wrap this up here today. I remember, I got to tell you, I'm a happy guy. I always have been. But particularly after I came to know Jesus. I mean, as a young boy, I was happy. And then things got kind of messed up there as a young teenager. But since then, as I've learned how to live according to the owner's manual of life, hey, I'm just telling you, I tend to whistle and sing, and there's a little bounce in my step, I gotta tell you. And I remember this one particular day, I'm walking through the engineering department at the company where I was working, and this one guy in the cubicle he was from Texas, and he kind of had a twang. And he said, "Doug, how come you're always happy all the time?" That's what he said. And he was kind of a larger than life Texas guy. He wore boots, and he said this in a Texas way. And I gave him an answer because we were not close friends, but we were friends. It was a small department, and we knew each other pretty well. And I just said, Morris, that was his name, I'm probably going to give you an answer. I'm probably going to give you an answer that was more than you're looking for. But I'm going to tell you that the creator of the universe has a personal interest in my well-being. So it's hard not to be happy all the time. It's just a little example of how it just comes up in life. If you're interacting with people and a part of people's lives, you're not going to be able to hide this light under a bushel basket. You are going to be salty, and you are going to affect the soup that you are in at the time. I'm telling you, you do not have to be rude and put your nose into places where it doesn't belong. No, don't do that. Respect people's privacy, and don't be rude or pry into things that you have no business to. But be a friend and love the people around you, and just watch what happens. Yeah, I'm just telling you. I could cite example after example, but I am convinced that you will promote the kingdom of God by living the way God intended you to live. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I hope I didn't ramble too much and stayed on topic. If this broadcast looks a little cut up and edited, it's because I caught myself rambling during this broadcast, and I paused and I cut stuff up. So I hope it ends up smooth. Thanks. See you next week.